Hi, everybody. So many new members in the group, and a lot of posts where there's interaction, and that's really the purpose of the group. I'm so happy when I see that it's not only me posting, but really you guys are posting, and there's a conversation or a discussion, people analyzing and sharing their own experience. And that's really what the group is about. You're going to see that some of my favorite topics are the leadership topic, which has, of course, to do with self-leadership first and foremost. And when we are in the transits in astrology or the gene keys or human design that have to do with leadership, you're going to see a little bit more of also like the collective leadership or the tribal leadership. And then how I look at energy and life energies, it's through the lens of Tantra. So that's also going to be a perspective that kind of comes in all the time when it has to do with energy, and especially circulating energy and energy between people. So I thought I was going to just go on the group and see what's been posted. I know people have been sharing their charts, and there might be some questions. And I'm just going to go on and tag you guys when I post, so that you know that your chart or your question is part of the video. So let's see. Yes. So here we have, here I was just updating the description, showing you some of the perspective or lenses that we are using in when we look. And I would love to add more to it here. So if you have more more systems or more lenses, let's just add them. And here was the Myers-Briggs, a fun play with it, like using, instead of speaking about just the acronyms, but actually putting an animal energy on it. That was kind of fun. And then a link to do the test for free. Here I was posting Julian's weekly report, astrology report, but also the gene keys and the I Ching. Really cool. And here a lot of new people. So let's see if I have any charts in this one. Yes, we do. So here we have Jack. And let's see if we can do both. Can we do both with each other? Let's see what happens. Can I go back and forth is what I'm wondering, from one picture to another. Maybe I can't. Okay, so here we have, wow, nice. So a 4-6, and then we have this powerful channel, the ego manifesting channel, that we've also called the money channel, and that many times when we have a chart like this can be very strong. And also we have a split definition, so we have a little bit of the emotional center and the root center working together in this kind of emotional spiritual wave that is unconscious. There's going to be there in, you could say, maybe not so much the background, because we can see that the 39 is up here. It has to do with liberation through spirit and kind of provoking liberation. And in the shadow frequency, of course, it would have to do with victimization, and would have to do with, like I said, provocation, together with those gates that are immaturity and greed and struggle. So there is the possibility, you could say, for this to play out in a kind of dark way, of course, and especially if there is a split and we don't both live this part, this island here with these 3 centers that are connected through 2 channels, and then this, we kind of want to combine this with the ego manifesting channel, which is the inner authority. And here we have a tribal leadership that has to do in the shadow frequency with control and dominance, but in the higher frequency it's about authority and synergy, and see what's good for the tribe or for the community. We also have this looking at the past and what has been, and at the experiences, listening to that and be able to kind of be a storyteller and speak what's been, so that we can walk in a different way for the future. And this is very much the kind of feminine storyteller, I would say, that sits around the bonfire, and instead of pointing fingers, can can tell the story, and then we don't need to commit basically the same mistakes again. So I can see it as an interesting combination of this feminine leading through love, identity, and direction in the G center, and then this more masculine, probably synergy, communion, authority, channel from the ego and the throat. So these two expressions, expressing like the ego, or the control over resources, you could say, and also more the heart and the identity, and where we're going through more feminine way in the 33. So these are very powerful channels. And then the third channel that we can see that we have is this spirit provoking thing, and we want to have like the whole being functioning together. And probably there's not, let's see, I mean, there could absolutely be a way of like wanting to bridge the split. So I would say see who you connect with, and maybe they would have the 43, the 40, 37, or what could the other way of bridging, I guess even easier, it would be somebody with a 36. That would be the preferred way of bridging, because it's a short split here. So if you just would have the 36, you would basically not be split anymore. All the centers would be connected through channels. So that can be an interesting thing to see. The people that are in your life, do they have the 36? And is it is it a not self connection, a codependent connection, or is it a beautiful connection? And then the keywords are, turbulence or crisis if it's a not self connection, and if it's a higher frequency connection, it would be about humanity and compassion. So that's something to look at. And I would say a little bit about the open centers again. Be careful about your energy, because you could be with other people that would define the center for you, and then suddenly when you're not with them anymore, you would not have that much energy. So be careful with your energy. You're not really here to just work. Also, what are you holding on to? The open spleen can be holding on to things that are not good for you emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. So always ask yourself if things are lingering in your life, they're good for you. And then the open head and ajna, you're here to have a lot of ideas. You're not here to pretend that you're certain about anything. There's no activation whatsoever in the ajna center. So it's really about just being able to hold different perspectives, just being able to play with it. And maybe, there's the arrows, maybe focusing on things, but then tomorrow you focus on something else. I would say something about the stability. So I would look at Saturn, and I would look at Venus on the design side, and see here that your Saturn is service and your Venus is rhythm. So basically you want your inner masculine to serve your inner feminine, and you want your masculine to serve, you could say, your natural rhythms, which is also one of the channels here in the fifth gene key that you have, that is your north node. So that's also going to bring you closer to your destiny, to listen to this inner. And the inner masculine really wants to listen. The 13 is about listening through love, and the feminine, she's here to really find freedom. In the shadow frequency, she could really feel unsafe and in a victim state, and your inner masculine, he could feel discord and kind of numb. So those are two states both those states could take you out of balance. And that's when you want the feminine to find a rhythm and to find a certainty and to find her freedom, like find a feeling of freedom. And the masculine wants to find this sense of serving a bigger cause and also listening through love and not being numb. Yeah, there's so much more I could say, but I think I'm going to just shut this down and then take a quick look at the other profile, the hologenetic profile, the gene keys. Let's see if there is a question here. Okay, studied Tantra and detoxification. Oh, I don't have the lines here. Okay, well, I really love to use the lines when I look. So this is something I can explain to you. When you go on the website and you create your profile, I'm probably going to do I did a video about how to use this. I'm probably going to do it again. You want to go to advanced, and then there is a little like plus there. You want to click on it and you want to add the lines. And you also want to add, now we only have, let's see, we only have, is this the gift frequency? You want to add the city and the shadow, and then the profile is much more, much more, you know, detailed in a way, but also it's much easier to see what stands out. Here, I'm kind of, yeah, there's so many nuances that are not there, so it's not really anything that pops out to me in the beginning. I mean, you could say, yeah, there are 253, and they're both in Mars. One is unconscious Mars, and one is the conscious Mars. But that doesn't say so much in the, you know, in the first step, especially not for people that haven't studied. But I mean, I would absolutely say that you have a lot of things that are twice, even in this profile, that don't have that many activations. The human design has 26, and here we see there's much less spheres, and still you have the 21, you have it twice, the 53, you have it twice, the 48, you have it twice. So you want to see there are those themes that come over and over again, and kind of want to look, what does it mean? Here we see, yeah, you have it in Mars twice on both sides. That's important, and it has to do with the maturity, expansion, and superabundance. And here you have this authority thing, but could also be a lot of control in the shadow frequency. And here in the challenge somehow, and what would block you also from making money is the inadequacy that you could feel. But you're here to find a toolbox with a lot of resources. So I would say, you know, go back and maybe create this chart with the lines and with a, you know, for your own. I happen to know the gift and the shadow and the city, so I wouldn't really need the words here, but it's kind of cool to see the frequency spectrum from the lowest to the highest energy in these three words that are going to be here. So that's something you can see here. You know, here is the little explanation of what you can put on it. So that's good that we have this example so that we can see what's possible. So let's see if I can get out of this one. Okay, so anything else here? Okay, here we have Alexandra. Let's open her chart. So here we can see an example where we have here we even have the pathways. So this is the maximum of all the things that you can actually put in a chart. Let's see if I can get it in the right, yeah, that's probably a good size. Oops. And here there is questions about, you know, feeling cut off of the family in the childhood. The life's work is, you know, the weakness in the shadow frequency, and here is about exhaustion in the 40. So what can we see here? Well, this is a 2-4 profile. So this is somebody who's really here to flow through life, who's here to just kind of hope that everything is going to be all right, and to find those dance partners where there is flow. The challenge for a second line is really relationships, and many times there can be disappointment. So the sentence that we want to use, or the mantra that we want to use for a second line personality, is breaking out of disappointment by fulfilling yourself first and then go into relationships. This is really important, because as long as you're not fulfilling yourself, as long as you're not in flow, anything that you're going to draw to yourself in relationships, since you're a second line, it's going to be that mirroring, and you're going to feel not fulfilled and probably disappointed. So that's the one, you know, best advice to give to second line: fulfill yourself first, and then you can have fun with a relationship. You're not always here to dance with everybody, but you're here to dance with the people that you feel passion and flow with. You're a 4th line unconscious, so it's about friendship and community, and feeling like you can breathe through the heart with other people. So you can also see here, you know, breath and friendship, those are very important. But as long as you stay in relationship where you're disappointed and where there's no flow, you're never going to make this breakthrough. You see the word of breakthrough here, and come into this side. And also the heart, the love point in the middle, is a 4th line. So that very that very heart for you, and the courage to live with a heart that is open and not closed or numb, is so crucial for you. It's also your essence. So it's a lot about your heart and about having the courage to live open-heartedly, even when it hurts, I would say. um, and when we look at the hologenetic, if we would say how you could live it out in the worst case, then you wouldn't be able to be this natural person who's dancing through life. And you would feel weak, especially in your relationship. You would even feel exhausted when you maybe try to see if you can go back to your childhood maybe, and maybe solve, or go back and see if you can find something different in those relationships. And then you would really feel also that maybe you don't really have the initiative to go the whole way. There will be inertia. You would feel like there isn't this connection and trust and confidence from the heart with your loved ones. And that would make you kind of indifferent. You can see the word here. And that you can't really breathe fully, because there's not any love to breathe in. And then that would create in your relationships, not only in your family, a kind of deafness, which tune into this numbness that you're speaking about, this feeling a bit cut off, and a lot of, again, tuning into the disappointment I was speaking about in devolution, the disappointment that you would also have in the relationship as a sixth line, thinking this never going to be possible. What you know is possible is not possible in this world. And then you would create there would be a superficiality, or even a vanity in everything that you feel and perceive in the world, and you would feel separate. You wouldn't feel maybe that you're made for this world anymore. And then that would come up to the weakness, to the exhaustion, to the not being able to breathe and connect with the heart, to the deafness where you don't listen to each other, to the disappointment, back up here to the superficiality. So that would just go round and round and round. But what you really, really want to do is to start to fulfill yourself first. Come up to your own tenderness with yourself, and find that equality where actually you start to fulfill yourself first, so you can meet people on that where you're already kind of in balance, and there's going to be equality. And when you do that, there is going to be a lot of resolve, a lot of solutions in relationship where there is so much more flow. And here you're going to be able to preserve in relationships what's worth preserving, and nurture those relationships where there's confidence and trust, and where you connect with the heart. And that's going to make you believe in friendship again, and have the determination of maybe going back and resolving some of those things where you didn't have the determination maybe to either forgive or come back, or just maybe breathe together, and find the stability in knowing who you can be in relationships, and how you can be and who you can be when those relationships with trust are created. And that also makes you a person who's here to be able to have many different kinds of relationship, many different kinds of actually doing things in life. And that really creates a lot of fun, a lot of innocence, a lot of insight in relationship. This is really probably relationship is one of the parts in life where you get the most fun, the most insight, the most epiphanies, and it's something that is just like playful and new all the time. That's why we have the word innocence here. And this also goes for sexuality. Through sexuality as a sixth line, you're going to be able to get a lot of insights. You're going to be able to feel things that you can't feel through anything else. That's the tantric line of sexuality. This is very important for you. But when you're stuck in disappointment here, you're not going to be able to go that deep and that innocent into new relationships. And then what comes up in the vocation is the purity of the heart, is when you go under the surface and you can connect on a much deeper level. And then suddenly this sixth line too really starts to open up, and there becomes a philanthropy. You don't only love the people that you're in relationship with, but you start to see the love of everybody and connect through that open heart. And you can see then your essence is about charity, but it's also about loosening the expectation of what you think that relationships are going to look like, to be a bit more detached and fulfill yourself first, so you can enjoy the relationship the way they are. And I would say a couple of things when it comes to, you know, your prosperity and your abundance. You want to have your authority, but you want to let go of the need to control things on a, you know, kind of micro control things. You want to more surrender to the big picture, to the system level, and have your authority there, and not maybe being the everyday little thing. And also probably not so good for you to have, you need a lot of freedom if you would have like somebody in your work deciding a lot over you, because you're not really here to have even a boss, I would say. And I would be just a little bit careful again, because you have a 6 line in your vocation, a 6 line in your EQ. These are the positions of Mars, and Mars tend to be a planet that is a bit immature. And in the immature masculine, you can see that what this masculine does is really to kind of separate and to not really be there, to kind of not really exist. And this is a little bit what, you know, the feminine is reclaiming the masculine for many times, to not be there. So I think it's important for yourself, for your own emotional, you know, for your inner child and all that, to be there. You want to exist. You want to be there for yourself when things feel emotionally difficult, to not kind of go aloof, but to stay in the body when these things happen, and to not become too like introvert or, you know, flying away in spirit, but stay in the body, stay in the feelings. So yeah, I think I hope that was helpful, and I would love your comments on it too. Okay, let's see if we have something else. One more. Otherwise, it's going to be hard if you don't want to watch everybody's. If you're in it. Here we have Erin. Yay, Erin! So cool. I didn't know that you were into this. You probably aren't, but I guess I'm so much into it, so everybody who knows me kind of gets into it. So here we have a role model, a 6-2. So the same thing we were speaking about before, with this disappointment that can happen in the 6th line, when you see that the world is not living up to what is your ideal. So here, you are here to become a kind of teacher, a kind of role model, somebody who walks your talk and that people get inspired by, and also start to walk in integrity when they see you. And you're here to also, you have a 2nd line here, so also be a lot in flow. Your soul kind of just wants to dance and have fun and you know, merge with other things that are alive. And when we look at this in the shadow frequencies, the worst case scenario, this would be when the 6 lines start to compromise. So when you start to compromise what you know is possible, a part of you would die, and then your soul would not be able to flow, and you would feel like, why are you even here in physical form? You would feel constricted in your body, and you would feel, you know, constricted and disappointed, not understanding really even why you're here, kind of separated again, which is something that is normal for the 6th line to be. Why am I in this world? And then on a soul level, there wouldn't be any flow, there would be stress, and that's dissatisfaction. The soul would say that, who can I merge with, who can I flow with? And then in your relationships there would be conflict, and there would also be, you know, a dream of what's romantic and possible, but probably a lot of distance and a lot of like even coldness in relationships, where you don't really understand, because you're a warm person. You have the 46 and the 25, which are both love gates, but you would still feel a kind of coldness and distance and conflict in relationships, and that would make you feel very inadequate, which is the 48. And then your 3rd line, you could also even be shamed for your for what's not right about you. And this is the core wound of shame and guilt somehow, but more than it's in shame, and feel like you're not only that you're not adequate for this world, but really even kind of on a more solar plexus emotional level, feel that like very, I would say, heavy feeling of shame or guilt, and that you don't really find your place, I would say. So what you want to do is really to not compromise in your life, to not go for what's good enough, but really go into what you know is possible, and surround yourself with people that nurture that dream, that we can evolve, that humanity is going somewhere, that we are all medicine, for each other. And then you're going to refine the love of being here in physical form, and probably you're going to do things that have to do with the physical body, and to feeling again, and to heal everything in the physical body where there has been pain, I would say, and where there's been pain or abuse or anything that we could do to the physical body that it doesn't deserve. And it would heal through universal love. You can see here that we have ecstasy and delight, and then we have universal love. So that's the way that you would heal all this. And they would break through the heart, and you would find this with humor. You're somebody, when your heart opens, there's a lot of humor and a lot of presence, which propels you into the wisdom of your heart, where there is bliss, where there is a flow and a stillness at the same time. And also where in relationship, like I was saying before, there is passion and flow, and where basically you start to find peace even in relationships, and everything starts to warm up that distant, cold heart. So there is so much love and trust and confidence, and even romance. And that's also a quality that you can hold in intimacy, that romance, that knowing that the heart is the only thing that matters, and connecting through that heart. And that's also where you start to, to kind of unfold in your karma and your dharma, and dissolve the parts again that have hurt in your different incarnations. And then suddenly your core wound of inadequacy and shame can open up and become your vocation, where you have such an enormous toolbox and so many resources to live your life with. And also where you can show people that humor, and coming from a place where actually life, even if it was hard, life is really about also laughing together, and see that it's a mess to be a human being, but when we are in it together, and we can add our resources together, and we can laugh at it, everything basically becomes fun. And that's what's going to fuel your life's work, this service, that we're here to love to be here, love to be human beings, love to be in this body that is not forever, but it has so many beautiful things to discover through all the senses. I would also say that you have this number, the pearl here, the 444, that is a powerful, of course, geometric number. And it's about your essence here is to find your soul fractals, other people that are here, other souls that are here to repair the same things in humanity as you, and you connect to them with a heart, and together there is like a charity that just naturally unfolds. So it's really finding those souls that are here with the same mission, I would say. You're here to be powerful. You're here to break through corruption and show that there is a voice that can lead us to harmony and equilibrium. And it's important for you in relationships, and when you get emotionally triggered, to find relationships where there is respect. That's a key word for you in relationships. And also to not force things when they are impossible, but more go into your inner strength instead of the outer forcing, I would say. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. And wow, I really love the storytelling of this profile. I think it's very, very powerful, and I would love to explore it more, and maybe see the human design of the same person, to see how it unfolds, like the energy in the body, since the life's work is so physical. So we can see really how you would help yourself to go into your life's work. So yeah, so that was 3 profiles, and I'm going to go back and look a little bit more, and I'm also going to go to, again, make a small video or repost a video so that you can get the full profile on the hologenetic with all the different things in the spheres, so we can really start weaving the way that we did in those 2 profiles, where everything kind of pops out and comes together to a story where you can see your life unfold, either in a low frequency or in a higher frequency. And of course, nothing is right or wrong, but when we see those 2 spirals, one going down and just becoming more contracted and more in the shadow, and the other going up, opening up for love, there is kind of, when we become aware, it even feels like there is a choice. So thank you. Bye.